Hello everybody, how you doing today? This is Cicone Prince of CiconePrince.com, where we make motivation personal by introducing you to yourself. And I can't tell you how excited I am to be a part of the 24 Hours of Entrepreneurship Secrets of the Champions. And I tell you, I'm excited about the information I have to share with you today, so let's get started. What I want to share with you today is about coming out head first. That's right, coming out head first. Anybody that's a champion knows that in order for you to get out of a situation, you have to come out head first. That means your mind has to see your way out even before you start taking action. So you have to be able to come out head first. Now, one of the first things you can do to come out head first, one of the first things you need to do is don't trust your emotions. That's right, don't trust your emotions. I tell people all the time, never let your emotions drive. They're not covered on your insurance. That's right, never let your emotions drive because they're not covered on your insurance. I'm sure all of us can attest to the fact that we've done stuff when we were emotional that we regretted later. And we wound up having to eat crow, having to apologize and say that we're sorry for something we did while we were emotional. Well, if you're going to be a champion, one of the things that you have to do is you can't trust your emotions. Because if you let your emotions lead, they're going to lead you in the wrong direction. You know, one of the things I really loved about Muhammad Ali in his boxing style, not just his technique, not just how he punched and how he jabbed and how he floated like a butterfly and stung like a bee, but how he would get in the head of his opponent. He would get them emotional and get them off their game, and that way he won almost every time. So if you're going to be a champion, one of the secrets that you need to make sure that you master is not to trust your emotions. I mean, don't let them lead. And I'm not saying don't be emotional at all, but don't let your emotions drive your decisions. I know for myself, there have been times when I've actually made decisions that have cost me dearly because I didn't listen to my head, I listened to my heart. But I was emotional. I was angry, I was upset, I was in puppy love, I was awestruck, whatever it was. I found myself leading or being led by my emotions. And emotions are really like the weather. They can change from day to day. So if you're going to be a champion, if you want to know the secrets of how people win over and over again, they don't trust their emotions. Now, I'm not saying we're not supposed to listen to them, but just don't trust them. Because when you trust your emotions, sometimes you make the wrong decisions. So in order for you to be a champion, you need to make sure that you have a level head. And that brings me to my second point. The second point is getting your mind right. If you want to come out of a situation head first, you have to get your mind right. Once you've got your emotions in check, then let's look at the facts. Let's look at the numbers in order for you to get your mind in a place where you need to be in order to come out. You know, during this current situation that we're facing globally, my question to people, and I know there are a lot of people that are emotional about what's going on right now. A lot of people are fearful. They're scared. They don't know where to go or what to do. But for those of us who know the importance of leadership and being able to lead or come out of something, what we have to do is we have to get our emotions in check. But then we also have to have the mindset to look beyond the current situation. And that's what getting our mind right does. When we can look to the future, we can see what happens after this. We can start planning right now for what's coming next, for what's on the horizon, for how we can benefit even from where we are right now. And the things that we're facing, the things that we're going through. There are so many people that are coming up with new and innovative ways to address the situation. I remember seeing somebody that took a CPAP machine and turned it into a ventilator. I mean, to me, that's innovation. Even in the midst of a pandemic, even in the midst of a bad time, they were looking at ways, how can we make something different? How can we look beyond where we are right now? What is it that we have at our disposal that we can change and make and fix? So are you being innovative right now? Are you thinking out of the box? Are you realizing that there is no box other than your mind, and realizing that you have so much to offer and getting your mind right so you can come out of this situation even better than it was when you went in? That's what's important, that we don't just stay the same, but we develop and we grow. You know, most movies that you watch, I don't care what character it is, somewhere during the course of that movie, that character develops. If they were a weak and timid character, by the end of the movie, they have changed. They have found the courage and the strength to stand up against injustice. If they were someone that was self-centered and not really caring about anybody else, by the end of the movie, they found something to fight for, something they were willing to die for, something that they wanted to care for even through the course of that movie. It's called character development. So are you developing as a character, or are you staying the same? In order for you to come out head first, you have to change from where you are to where you want to be. You cannot let the current situation let you stay the same. If anything, this should cause you to dig deeper and to go harder and to learn more and to try something new and different, because you can't stay the same person. What a waste of time if you came out of this situation exactly the same as you went in. One thing I know is that you have to take the time to pour into yourself so that you can then pour into others. And that's what getting your mind right does. It helps you to be in the mind frame to help other people. Because there are people around you. They're scared. They're frightened. They're confused. They don't know where to go or what to do. And yet, as someone who's in a position of leadership, as someone who's seeking to be a champion, one of the things you have to do is make sure that your mind is right. You have to get it right, not only for yourself, but for those you care about, for those you were called to serve, for those that are around you. You have to muster up the strength and the courage to have the right mindset to be able to address the situation. Now, I'm not saying that we aren't supposed to actually look at the facts, because we are. But you also have to have a hope and a vision for the future. Because sometimes things look hard. They look hopeless. But people are looking for those in leadership that have hope, that could be able to help them to get to where they need to be. So don't allow the current situation to cause you to not have your mind right. You have to work on your mentality. You have to make sure that you unplug every now and then. And even if you have to pray and meditate, spend some time alone, take a walk, go out in nature, find a way to get your mind right so that you can address the situation with a level head. With a level head. And sometimes, I'll be honest with you, sometimes you have to get away to first deal with your emotions. But in the process, and once you've dealt with them, then you can take that same time while you're away to get your mind right. To get your mind right. Because I tell you that you can't be of help to anybody if you're hysterical or if you're running on emotions. You have to be level-headed. If you want to come out of this thing head first, you can't trust your emotions, and you have to get your mind right. But the third thing you have to do, after you've gotten your emotions in check and after you've gotten your mind right, none of that means anything if you don't take action. If you don't implement what you've already planned to do, none of it means anything if you don't take action. There's something you have to do. You have to change something that you're doing in order to come out of a situation head first. You have to change your behavior, your decision making. Sometimes you have to change the people that you're around. Maybe it's even your own self-care. Whatever it is you're facing or dealing with, you have to be willing to make the change. Talking about it is good and great, but nothing happens from just talking. You have to make sure that you put in the work. In order for you to come out of the situation head first, you have to make adjustments. You have to be willing to actually deal with things even as they come, but continue to take the action. Because without that action, nothing worthwhile is going to happen. Nothing long lasting is going to happen. Nothing sustainable will happen without you taking action. So if you want to really come out head first, I said you have to deal with your emotions. True, yeah. You also have to have a level head, and that's right. You have to get your mind right. But then you also have to take action. But you know, there's another part that I want to add to what I've just shared with you. And the other part is this. You have to repeat. You have to repeat every step that I just mentioned. Why? Because as you do that, as you get your emotions right, as you get your mind right, as you take action, something else is going to come up. Something else is going to happen. Something else is going to threaten you from getting to where you want to go. And you're going to get what? Emotional about it. You're going to get frustrated. You're going to want to throw in the towel and quit. But what I've learned is that in order for you to keep going, you have to be able to face those times and keep making another step. So that's why I said the fourth thing you need to do is repeat. Once your emotions get out of check again, get them back in check. Go through that whole process. Sometimes you have to take 2 walks. But whatever it is you have to do to get your emotions back in line and back where they need to be, you definitely have to do that in order for you to be able to continue to grow. Because this is not the only challenge that we've had. And the secrets of champions, they don't just fight one fight. In order for you to be a champion, you have to continue to keep going and keep winning. That means that there are going to be bigger and better challenges, or I should say bigger and badder challenges. But are you willing to go through the process again? Some people feel like, oh, I won one time, I'm good. No, if you're going to be a champion, you have to have a history of winning. And how do you do that? You repeat these steps. You make sure that your emotions are where they need to be. You keep them in check. But then you make sure that, okay, last time I had to take this approach. Okay, but this time, this is a little different from last time. So now I have to take a different approach. I have to have a different strategy. But I have to have a level head in order to be able to address this one. Yes, I had victory in the past. But in order for me to actually address this one here, I have to put in the work of getting my mind right and keeping my head level. But then even after all of that, even after you've done that again, you still got to take action. Just because you won one time don't mean that you're going to win again unless you continue to do and grow through the process. Don't just go through the process. A lot of people do that. They just go through it. Why not grow through it? A lot of us, we get in a bad situation and we are so eager to look for the exit. Let me out, let me out. How do I get out of this situation? What I've learned and what life has taught me is that the importance of, okay, look, before I get out of this, what did I get in it for? What lesson was I supposed to learn while I'm in this? Because I guarantee you, if you miss the lesson, you can count it a loss. I tell people all the time, I either win or I learn. Because even when I lose, if I get the lesson, if I learn the lesson, I didn't lose, I learned something. So my question to you is this: are you willing to be in a situation and learn something? And learn what it is you need to learn in that situation. So the next time you run into something, even if you learn that you have a willingness to keep going, even if you learn how much fight you have in you, that all comes from being in a situation. But don't be so quick and so in a hurry to get out of it. But learn the lesson as why it came in your life. Because once you learn that lesson, I guarantee you, the next time, you'll be able to face it with more confidence. You'll find yourself saying, bring it on. Because I've been here before. I've gone through this process before. And after a while, you'll be able to do what I'm doing. You'll be able to teach somebody else. Because I'm telling you, everything that I've shared with you, I've learned myself. I've had to deal with my own emotions of dealing with a situation. I remember this time I had a I had a business partner. And I remember actually sharing with him about how it seemed as if he was not really concerned with where the company was going. So I spent a lot of time trying to get him involved and get him engaged. And I think I spent more time than I should have. Because after about a year and a half of me trying to make sure that he was where he needed to be, I had to sit him down and ask him this simple question. And you can actually, this one, I suggest you need to write this down because this is a one-size-fits-all question. And my question to him was this. If you were a business partner, would you want a partner like you? Notice the wording. I said, if you were a business partner, would you want a business partner like you? And the reason the wording is so important is because had I just said, would you want you as a business partner? That would have made it personal. And he would have took that as an attack upon him and his character. But I said, no. Would you want a business partner like you? You know what that did? That removed him out of the situation and just looked at his behavior. And he honestly had to sit there and he thought, and he went, and he said no. For 30 seconds, he sat there and he contemplated the fact that he hadn't been doing what it is he should have been doing in the business. And so he was honest enough to say, no, I wouldn't. But you know what? Before I could ask that question of him, before I could actually pose that question to him, I had to ask it of myself. I had to ask myself, Cicone, if I was a business partner, would I want a business partner like me? So before I even asked him, I asked it of myself. And the answer I got was yes, I would. Because I knew that I was engaged and I knew that I was going after the goal and the vision of the business. Now, when I said that this was a one-size-fits-all, I meant that. Because you can change a couple of words in that question, in that statement, and you could find yourself getting the answers that you need for almost any situation. Prime example. If you were an employee, would you want a boss or a supervisor like you? If you were a husband, would you want a wife like you? If you were a wife, would you want a husband like you? If you were a parent, would you want to raise a child like you? Now, the funny thing about that last question, I ask that of my children. And oftentimes when I ask it, of course, they're doing something that they know that they shouldn't be doing. So when I ask them that question, that allows them a chance to look at their own behavior. And they honestly have to say, no, I wouldn't. Because they knew they're being difficult and they're being children. I know. But trying to help them understand that the importance of, listen, you have to evaluate yourself. Now, again, before you ask that question of somebody else, of anybody else, you have to ask that question of you. Like I said, before I ask my business partner, I ask that of myself. And even at home, even with my wife, I ask myself, if I was a woman, would I want to be married to a man like me? Now, then again, I also ask that question of her. And it allows us to take an objective look at ourselves. And to me, that's the most important introspection that we can take, is looking at ourselves and our behavior. You talk about having the secret of a champion. Champions are always evaluating themselves. They're always looking at where they are and what they could do better. Any team has a game reel. They watch what they did the last game, and they even look at the game reel of their opponents. Whether they are a fighter, whether they are a basketball or baseball team or football team, they are always looking to improve. So the secrets of a champion is to improve. And you do that by coming out head first, by dealing with the emotions that you have, by then having a level head, and then also taking action. And then realizing that once you've done that, you have to repeat the process and keep going and keep doing it so you can keep growing and get to where you need to be. Listen, I have something special for each and every one of you. And what I have is, it's an assessment. It's a leadership assessment that's available to you. Now, around this video, there's going to be a link to where you can easily get that, and you can actually take it and see what type of leader are you. Because in order for you to be a champion, you also have to be a leader. You have to be willing to lead yourself, then you can lead others. And so the secrets of a champion is making sure that you know that you have a responsibility on your shoulders for those that are carrying you, for those that are under you, for those that are singing your praises. And in order for that to happen, you have to come out head first. And look, this is Cicone Prince of CiconePrince.com, where we make motivation personal. We're introducing you to yourself. And I am so excited for this opportunity to share with you the secrets of a champion and how to come out head first. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.